Plates flying again in Montecito HQ. Meghan and Harry's film was shamelessly rejected at the Emmys, which all of us knew was going to happen, except, of course, for the delusional couple. We all knew those rumors were completely made up, and now the plates are bound to be flying again in Montecito HQ, the nerve center of Meghan and Harry's global operations. And this is happening after the news came out that Meghan and Harry's presence will not be necessary at the Emmy Awards ceremony on September 18th after all. Sure, the viewing numbers were quite high for Netflix's documentary series about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, but anyway, they didn't earn any Emmy Award nominations this morning. The 6-part series, Harry and Meghan, was directed by Liz Garbus, and it was under consideration for Outstanding Documentary or Nonfiction Series. I guess some awards simply cannot be bought. Meghan really insulted the late Queen, while that total idiot Harry sat looking at her. It was absolutely horrifying. And for me, I think the worst thing was what she did after she completed that disgraceful curtsy. She brayed like a donkey. She was looking so happy with herself, as though she was expecting a round of applause. Usually, I don't even want to comment on stuff she does, but anyway, that image of Meghan Markle and that over-exaggerated curtsy was absolutely disrespectful. I never did watch it, but when I was over at my friend's house, my friend who still has Netflix, I made sure to give it a thumbs down on the Netflix account. Now, I didn't watch the Oprah interview either, especially after I heard about it at the time that Prince Philip was in the hospital. I know I am simply one individual, so my downvote is not going to be very meaningful, but still, I couldn't just let them have it. I felt like there was no need for me to tune in because I heard more than enough about it on the internet. Meghan and Harry are such a disgrace to both continents. There was only one show about Meghan and Harry that I wanted to watch, and that was the South Park episode, and trust me, if you haven't watched it, you need to. I mean, it is hilarious. I also think it's funny that they were not nominated for an Emmy, in spite of the desperate efforts on behalf of WME to get the media on board talking about the likelihood that they're going to be nominated. They really thought they had it in the bag that Meghan and Harry were going to win. And I don't believe that Netflix is going to be too happy about this news either. After all, they don't like missing out on awards. So I'm sure there were some very unhappy people at WME offices today. I don't know when their next meeting with Meghan is going to be, but I'm guessing they're going to let her have it. Although it would be wrong of me to fail to mention that their Netflix Family Abuse Fest has been nominated for a Hollywood Critics Award in some kind of BS nonfiction category. It's against a lot of other productions that sound about as meaningless as Meghan and Harry themselves. You can find the list online if you care to look. But since the Emmys have officially rejected them, are the Hollywood Critics Award people going to be so bold as to award them? I doubt it. WME would let their displeasure be known that Meghan does not do second best, well, except, of course, in her choice of royal husbands. And let's spare a thought, please, for the royal family. I'm sure they're going to be very amused by this news, and probably relieved too. I'm sure they were excited to learn that the gruesome twosome are not going to be dining out yet again at their expense at the Emmy Award ceremony on September 18th. Even though Meghan was not nominated for an Emmy, she was bound and determined to get herself an award anyway. And let's remember what Meghan wants, Meghan gets. So she paid to be nominated for a much lesser award, and many people are claiming that they've never even heard of that award. I can only assume that you cannot buy an Emmy. Clearly, Meghan is still convinced that people will believe she's really talented if she gets all these minor awards. To this day, I still cannot understand how Harry could just sit there idle and allow Meghan to make fun of his late grandmother, the great queen, with that disgusting curtsy. I guess he just has to put up with her because he is so weak. He cut all ties with Britain, with his family, with all his friends, and now it looks like he is completely reliant on that evil woman. That is just what she was wanting, though. It is a typical narcissist move to isolate and control the victim. Now, Harry doesn't have anything but a little bit of money, a couple of invisible children. He is completely lost at sea. Now, Meghan writes whatever script she wants him to follow, and he's got to follow it. Harry has been reduced to a shell of his former self. The fact is, I cannot believe that he didn't stop the filming right then and there. Meghan Markle is such a piece of gutter trash. Personally, I'm glad that Emmy stuck to their rules. Now, a while back I was reading about them. Two rules that really stuck out to me were that the documentary had to be true, and we all know that docuseries was filled with lies. The second rule was that there has to be an opposing view, and everybody knows that docuseries didn't contain a single person who opposed what the liars had to say. If their Netflix docuseries were being nominated for an Emmy, I don't believe that any real celebrities would attend the award ceremony. I'm pretty impressed by the way she has completely taken over the entire sofa, just sitting smack in the middle while Harry is squashed into a corner. It really reminds me of that christening photo of the entire family plus Doria. I do not understand how Harry can put up with all her nonsense. I mean, has the entire world lost the plot? As if these two are deserving of any award except maybe the biggest liars. The fact that it was called a docuseries was incredibly misleading. Instead, it was a spite-filled spew of revenge, a made-up tale of non-victimhood, their truth as they call it. I think that fifth graders could have done a much better job because by then at least they're over the tattletale stage. Now that most people with a lick of common sense have seen right through Meghan and Harry, the critics are not going to want to risk negative publicity. Now, there's other award I have never heard of before, but it's probably all because of who Meghan has been roasting chicken with either recently or in the past. How in the world is their PR going to spin this? Typically, when an invitation to an important event simply doesn't happen, they try to spin it like they were too busy to attend, but I think it's going to be incredibly difficult for them to spin the fact that they were not nominated. They have to work very hard to position and market their talent in the best light possible, because as they realize, sometimes even talent needs some help, except in the case of Meghan, there is no talent to market. And there have been so many puff pieces out there about Meghan since she signed with WME. Obviously, they are doing some big-time repositioning to try to make up for the shortfall in talent. And let's remember that when he was still a part of the royal family, Harry said what Meghan wants Meghan gets. Well, Harry, not in the real world. Even the late Queen had to give this idiot of a grandson a reality check. The Queen said, no, Meghan's going to accept what I choose to give her. And now they have been thrown into the real world as opposed to their fantasy world with their insane fan club. Well, I'm glad the Emmy spoke loud and clear on this matter. I really do wish the late Queen were still around to witness their epic downfall, and without question they deserve it 100%. Harry and Meghan's alleged reputation was built on the fact that they were a part of the royal family, not in spite of it, and on that basis there is simply no reputation to rebuild because they didn't have one in the first place. I would guess the offices of WME are filled with these woke people who have a messiah complex, and they're convinced they can be the ones to save Meghan. But soon enough, they're going to find out, just like Sunshine Sachs, that they cannot bring Meghan back. As many people have said, you can put lipstick on a pig, but it is still going to be a pig. And yes, I think there is a lot of truth in that statement. But I do wish the late Queen were still around to see karma finally coming for the two of them. You know, they deserve all the ill will that's going to fall on their heads from a great height. They were the ones who hastened her death and her beloved husband's death too, and to me that is something that can never be forgiven. I'm guessing Her Late Majesty is looking down on us from heaven with a little smile on her face, thinking, oh yes, recollections do indeed vary. And you, do you agree with me? Please tell me what you think below in the comments section, and we can also talk about Meghan and Harry. If you preferred our video this evening, don't be afraid to like and share it with anyone else who needs it. And don't be afraid to click the subscribe button to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in, have a lovely weekend, and we'll be back to see you all tomorrow.